Fog Entertainment back with an Alison Borderland review, episode 4 of season 1. Last time out,
I'm beginning to think we're sick bastards. We seem to watch shows where people are
just...
forced into deadly games and get killed.
It's just a deadly game. It's just a deadly game.
Shout out to anyone who gets that reference, by the way.
If you do,
Back when wrestling was good.
Survivor Series 98. It's just a... Right, anyway,
Well,
yeah.
to be fair, I mean, you could argue watching Wrestling 2022 is worse than any of these deadly fucking games.
I know.
It is a deadly game. It's like a game of Russian roulette.
At least last
But
time.
only you want the fucking gun to be loaded when you're pushing it at your head. You've had enough. You're like, fucking please, blow my brains out.
At least last time out, one of them got to survive. You watch wrestling these days, none of you get to survive, brother.
It's two casualties sitting in front
Anyway,
of the TV.
though, right, Usagi, she bumps into Arisu. He's on the deck greeting. Arisu?
Yeah, well, she's been running about scavenging, looking for supplies. Apparently she can hunt as well. She can catch rabbits.
She snapped its neck.
Doesn't give a fuck. Wasn't catching it to have a new wee pet. Catching it to eat it, goddammit. And get the RSAPCA on her, like, because, aye. Bullying the animals here. Well, she's out getting supplies. She comes across Arisu, who is, like, kind of just laying there. He's given up in life. He is absolutely filled with grief and guilt over the deaths of his friends. He cannot handle it. He is...
Oh, nice.
He's just laying there. Originally she like checks on him a little bit, but kind of just goes, well, fuck him, and goes on to do her stuff. But then she comes across and finds him. Now, I don't know if it was later that day or on a different day, but it was absolutely pissing down, man. The heavens was flooded, man. It was mad. The amount of rain coming down, it was like a monsoon. If this was an F1, Charlie Whiting would have called the race off. Even though he's dead, he'd have called the race off.
Someone called his race off if he's dead.
We would have had, if there was a fucking phone signal reception in heaven, Charlie Whiting would have phoned down and called the race off. That's how bad the rain was. Obviously, she didn't want to, like, kind of see him, you know, out in the rain, so she takes him back to where she is, makes him some food. He's been a huffy bastard, and she says, look, I made that food, and a rabbit had to die, so make sure you eat that food. And he eats it. She wakes up, she sees his plates. The next day his plate's done, so he canned the rabbit.
And he didn't even fucking clean the plate.
Yeah, he left a wee bit of rabbit in it. She's doing her stuff, you know, getting all her clothes washed and all that, hunting, whatever you do in these kind of apocalypse where there's no one else. And eventually she talks him into playing the next game, says that, like, you can't die for nothing, and that your friends died for you and you need to go on and, you know, continue your life. And then she says that you helped me in game 2. You let me know if it wasn't for you, I'd be dead.
I'd be dead.
And now she wants to repay the favour by helping Arisu through the next game, which he appears to accept. They go to the next game, but I wouldn't say this motivational speech has, you know, it hasn't brought Arisu back from the brink of wanting to kill himself. He still is down in the dumps, but at least he's trying, and he's entered game 4.
And game fucking 4, guys. There's 5 participants. We've got these 2 jobbers, and then we've got 3 jobbers who have been tag teaming along since, I don't know, like last week, I think one of them said. One of them, though, he's got a wee bit of a sprained leg, but the game gets explained to them, or does it get explained to them? Because I feel like this game was explained like a Mongo on Christmas Eve.
There's only one Mongo here. It's no Christmas Eve. It's the 28th of January. This guy knows absolutely nothing. So they approach the game arena, and it happens to be in a tunnel. They then head down onto the tunnel, and they come across...
Onto the tunnel?
Into the tunnel.
Onto the tunnel?
Say then.
Then they get to a bus, right?
They get to a bus.
They get to a bus, right?
Right.
They get on that bus.
Right.
They get on the DX Express, alright?
If this bus goes below 50...
The bus isn't even moving, it's got no fucking fuel.
I thought it was speed we're watching here for a second. Alright, okay.
Basically, they are
It's got no fuel in that at the moment. You think that is... Well, actually, you don't at this stage, no.
Basically, at this point, they're told they have to reach the goal. And their phones, there's a distance thing that measures, obviously, their distance. But the guy with the injured leg, he can't walk, so then he basically gets a pep talk. He's like, you gotta go, you gotta get to your family, man, you leave me behind. Turns out, though, this is the best decision this fucking jobber ever made, ain't it, big man?
It is, But he says, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to try and find a way out of here. Well, why didn't he leave with them?
Maybe he knew. Maybe this guy's smarter than we think.
Well, why didn't he? I don't know. But why didn't he leave with them and like attempt to get to the distance, or the try and get the proper distance that they needed to get to the objective, the goal, the location? He says he's not going to give up, but he just sits at the back of the bus, licking Wendy's essentially.
He does give up. Yeah, it's a wee bit jobber like.
So then Arisu, Usagi, and the two players that they end up playing with. By the way, this game was a 4 of clubs difficulty for anyone that cares.
So it was easy?
I would say it was easy, but a 4 of club. What's the clubs again? What's clubs?
Teamwork? Or endurance, was it?
Probably is endurance. I think it is endurance. Clubs or team battles, yeah. So you have to work as a team here. And they don't really work as a team because they kind of leave the injured guy behind. So then,
and then when they get to the bottles of water, they're like, oh, we're not drinking that. So Arisu and Usagi drink their own, and he's like, oh, do you want this? Like, what a fucking shite bag.
Now, I personally don't think there's anything wrong with this water. Nothing in any of the games so far is there to suggest that they're trying to poison you. I legitimately think the water was there for people to take a drink of water. I don't think there's anything wrong with the water.
Yeah.
But Arisu, who gets given water by Usagi, then he offers her water to these two strangers that were happy enough to let Usagi and Arisu go ahead and drink the water first to see if there was anything wrong with it. So, yeah, Arisu here. I mean, he seems like a nice guy, but at the same time, he's very gullible. Is he someone who's cut out for this, this new world? I don't know.
I don't think he is. I think he's a big fucking shite bag, guys, and that's the bottom line.
They continue going out of nowhere. Some like Black Panther. And that's not racism. That is that there was a legit panther that was black.
That's where I'm confused here, right? These things aren't native in Tokyo.
So someone's planted it now?
Yeah, and then not just in this episode, the next one there is more animals and shit, but so what's going on? Have these things just been like took through the zoo, or have they been imported in, or is this, are we even in reality? They don't know. We don't know. Will we find out?
See, to be fair, they don't look that real, but that could just be bad CGI.
I think it's just bad CGI.
So Black Panther, they get chased, Arisu and Usagi. 1 minute they hide in a car, and then they just go out the next door, and I'm thinking, fuck me, wouldn't you stay in the car? They manage to kind of escape from the Panther. The Panther attacks one of the other dudes, kills him. The three keep going on, they go on, they go on. They get to the end of the tunnel, where they come across an old bike that has old fuel in it, that would also be enough. It's the same type of fuel that basically the bus would drive on. So
it's got old fuel in it.
What?
What the fuck are you talking about? It's just it's
diesel
just,
fuel, mate.
Aye, but
well, apparently
the
diesel
new cars
works.
can still.
Aye, petrol doesn't.
It only works because they don't have the electronical chip pings.
Is it? I thought it was something to do. Alright, well, diesel. I don't know, right? Fuck it, diesel. Arisu then decides that he is gonna go all the way. Now, I assumed there wasn't a lot of time left when they got to the end of the tunnel. That's what I thought from what happened in the game. I thought they were up against it. I did not think there was a lot of time left. But apparently there was, and he must have thought there was at least half the time left. But you think about it, he's went from running by himself, and then he decides he's going to run back, pushing this big motorcycle, which would obviously take a lot more time. And then he never even seemed to consider the fact that Panther could still be there, although I think it died due to the amount of times the other dude stabbed it. So yeah, he manages to go all the way back. He tells Usagi and the other dude that they came across to stay there. He's going to go back and help the guy in the bus. So he manages to go all the way back to the bus, and he looks at the bus, and his eyes open up as far as I've ever seen a pair of these eyes open.
But see, this is what's stupid, right? Look at the amount of time it took them to get there, and then he's pushed a bike the whole way back, and we're supposed to believe.
Well,
that...
we don't see that he sees gold. We just see his eyes opening up.
Aye, but we know it's explained to us. That's what it meant.
Back up at the end of the tunnel, you got your new guy showing pictures of his family, and his family is soon without him.
Aye.
Because the next minute there's bolts. You can hear like pressure being applied to the wall that's kind of beside them, or the big whatever it is at the other entrance of the tunnel. Next minute bolts start flying out, and then water starts leaking out and this is like I don't know, it's like an underground like water thing where, and then basically the tunnel is moments away from being flooded. And then so they decide to run back the way they came, and when you look at it, you think about it at the start, the distance said 0, and they were getting further and further away. And it's like the distance was popping up when they were getting further away. It was in red, but when they were at the goal and it said 0, it was in white. Looking at it, surely the distance you need to get to would be counting down rather than going up.
Exactly.
But they never caught on to that. Arisu kind of did, I guess, but it was too late by the time he caught on. So the other guy that was at the tunnel, he gets caught out in the water. Usagi still...
He gives up. These guys, this group of three claimed that they would never give up. All seem three of them to give up.
You know, it's kind of weird. Like, apparently they've been doing great together in all these games for the last week, but as soon as they get some TV time, as soon as they get that main event push,
Their arse collapses.
they job out in one episode, one game. Usagi's running, and then we see Arisu, who is driving the bus with obviously the fuel in it, and he tells all the injured guy to take over the wheel, and he just grabs Usagi and pulls her into the bus before the water gets her, and then the bus is like, I don't know, like waterproof or something like that. It's got mad fucking windows, it's waterproof. The water can't get in. They're safe in the bus. Then after amount of time,
I feel like though there would have been other vehicles you could have sat in and survived this. Because obviously,
I don't think so.
But when they wake up, sure, the water's away. So how long did it take for the water to get drained or whatever? You know.
Probably a long time. Like.
Yeah, but how long were they out?
I think about it like a normal car, the windows would just that amount of pressure. The windows, I think, would just break.
Maybe potentially. We don't know how much water there was though. You know. Maybe at the end of the tunnel where they were originally, the water would have completely died down instead of been complete. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, but yeah.
And then when they get off the bus, we can see the big word "goal" written on the side of it, and then we discover that they were at the goal the entire time, and the way to complete this game was sitting as a team on the bus. So, what a long 2-hour boring bus journey that would have been. A bus no fucking moving, just sitting there.
But see, it's kind of a trick. Obviously, it's a trick one, but what are you supposed to do? Just fucking sit there?
I don't think you'd risk it if I was in this game. And it was distance. I'd be trying to get some distance.
Probably the ideal thing would have been who's the best runner. Someone run to the other end, see what the crack is. But even then,
yeah, but then
you would never have knew.
Yeah, run to the. It doesn't make sense. So you.
I know. But why are we going to let one person run? Say that's right. We're just stuck here.
I know.
With no force.
It's probably something you either do as a team or you don't like. But yeah, no, I get it. I mean, they kind of wasted 10 minutes at the start in the bus, deciding whether Hopalong could come. Could they not have looked at the bus for clues for 10 minutes, and maybe they would have discovered the big goal written on the side of it.
Exactly.
And anyway, then the guy with the sprained leg walks off. I thought he was maybe going to stay with him. Arusi says, "Where you going?" And he's going, I'm going to try and survive. I hope I meet people. I hope I meet other people as nice as you." I thought Arusi was going to offer him a place in their team.
Not much of a team like, but...
Nah, it's not really. But he doesn't, he leaves, and then the game ends, and then the episode ends. So, episode 4, no name to the episode, no title name, just called episode 4. Another solid episode, in my opinion. I enjoyed it. I've enjoyed every episode so far. I think 4 episodes in, and I think it's a strong show, man. But I probably didn't like it as much as the previous 2 episodes. I'm gonna go and give it a 7. I mean, I know you didn't like this episode, but I thought it was good.
Well, it's not that I didn't like it, but I feel like we're on a downward trajectory, and I'll give it a 6.
6 out of 10, damn it. There you go, I'm getting it a 7, you're getting it a 6. I averaged it at 6.5 for all the Mongoloids out there that can't do basic maths. And on that note, I think that's where we're going to end this review.
Episode 4 in the books, episode 5 up next. Don't even know how many episodes are in the season, but fuck it. We're near there.
We're halfway there. Whoa!
Living on a prayer.